Have you ever felt like you're the only one putting in effort after a breakup? Texting, calling, hoping they'll change their mind. But the harder you try, the further away they seem. Frustrating, isn't it? You gave your whole heart, but now you're the one chasing. But here's the secret. The moment you stop chasing and start focusing on yourself, everything changes. If you want your ex to come back and pursue you, it's not about using tricks or manipulating their mind. It's about becoming someone they can't stop thinking about. It's about understanding the psychology behind attraction and using it to your advantage while becoming the best version of yourself. In this video, we'll guide you step by step to turn the tables, make them miss you, and ultimately have them actively seek you out. So, if you're ready to regain control and rebuild your confidence, this is your time. Before we begin, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. Our channel shares insightful perspectives on love, self-development, and strategies to help you overcome breakups powerfully. Let's start your journey to reverse the situation and surprise your ex. The reason you yearn for your ex to chase you stems from a deep-rooted realization: the current imbalance where you are the pursuer, openly expressing your desire and need, cannot mend the relationship. You sense, though not always explicitly, that this asymmetry only exacerbates the distance between you two. Therefore, what you need is to reverse this dynamic. The key question is how. In a mature and profound relationship, ideally, both individuals run towards each other, creating a reciprocal momentum that sustains love and intimacy. Whoever consistently considers themselves above expressing desire will sooner or later witness a string of failed relationships. This is because everyone desires to feel important, to be desired, and to see sincerity from the other side. When this legitimate need is unmet, the other person gradually feels unloved, unappreciated, leading to a sense of insecurity and estrangement. Of course, in the initial stages of a relationship, a bit of ambiguity and uncertainty in emotions can be attractive. Initial caution and slow observation can pique the other person's curiosity and stimulate a desire to conquer. But as love develops, hiding or being hesitant to express oneself becomes inappropriate. Instead, trust, transparency, and clear affection form the bedrock of a lasting bond. They need to perceive from you passion, consistent care, and deep love, not an unpredictable enigma. However, when you give too much, pursue excessively, the harmony is lost. You need to be sensitive to the rhythm of the relationship to adjust your behavior. If you are constantly pressing, cornering them, they will naturally resist, even feeling imposed upon. Maintaining balance is crucial. Once the scales tip too heavily towards you, the one who expresses, the one who chases, not only do you become less attractive, but the very space for a spiritual connection between you two becomes suffocating. After a breakup, if you chase someone who is retreating, you only reinforce the disparity. They will see you as a threat, a psychological pressure, and further down the line, fear and a sense of being stalked may arise. A healthy relationship is when two people move towards each other in balance. When the scales tilt heavily to one side, the allure fades, and your chances of rekindling love diminish significantly. Imagine yourself approaching a bird in the yard. The faster you advance, the more frightened the bird becomes, retreating and ultimately flying away. But if you are gentle, maintaining a safe distance, sometimes that bird, out of curiosity, will gradually move towards you. When you don't exert pressure, you create space for the other person to actively observe, explore, and approach. This is not a given. If everything worked perfectly, you wouldn't need this strategy. But since they have withdrawn, you must respect that space. Barging in, finding detours around the door they have locked, only shows that you are resisting their wishes, disrespecting the boundaries they have set. Truly captivating individuals do not force themselves where they are not welcome. Recognizing this is the first step to triggering a reversal in this psychological game. If you keep chasing, how can they turn back to find you? When you are busy pursuing, they can only continue to run away. And if they stop, you will crash into them in confusion, making them even more wary and wanting to stay away. So, stop chasing. That is the fundamental principle, the first step. The second step is that you must turn your own life in a different direction. Focus on yourself. Understand that you don't have an invitation to continue caring for this relationship at this time. Your ex has closed that door. Instead of pleading and knocking, turn to investing in personal hobbies, family relationships, and friendships that you still have. I don't encourage you to immediately jump into a new date. If you still believe the old relationship can be revived, give yourself time. You need to recover from the shock of the breakup, not rush into a new love. An emotionally mature person understands that turning love on-off like a switch is unnatural. If you can dismiss the old relationship in an instant, perhaps that love was never deep. Give yourself a pause to reconnect with yourself, with your inner life, and with those who cherish you unconditionally. When you do this, you not only heal, but also give the old relationship a natural opportunity for the other person to see that you are no longer stalking them. Your absence in serenity can spark curiosity, a key element in the psychology of attraction. When things go off track, the other person will wonder, why isn't he acting like before? What has changed? And curiosity is the first step, opening the door to the corridor of renewed attraction. Of course, you don't want them to come back just out of curiosity. Curiosity is not the ultimate goal, but the starting point. Every process must go through stages. You have to accept each small step, each accumulating moment. Nothing matures instantly. Curiosity can lead to reflection, then to the realization that perhaps I was wrong, and finally to the desire to rediscover the initial attraction. At the time of the breakup, your ex believes they are in a higher position on the ladder of attraction. They may offer comforting words, praising your beauty, talent, and virtues, but the truth is, if they were sufficiently enamored, they wouldn't have left. Whatever their excuse work, studies, personal pressure, if the attraction from you was still strong enough, they would find a way to overcome the challenge to be with you. Instead, they ended the relationship. This indicates that the attraction in their eyes has faded. Instead of trying to convince or chase your ex to fix the situation, you need to return to focusing on yourself, recognizing and appreciating your own inherent worth. This is where the no-contact rule becomes especially helpful, as it allows you to escape the flow of negative energy fueled by disappointment, anxiety, and the desire to control the situation. During this phase, you dedicate time to neglected hobbies, strong friendships and family relationships, and continuously upgrade your life experiences, intellect, and emotions. You gradually move away from the image of desperately clinging to them, instead becoming more confident, independent, and radiant in your own eyes. On the other side, your ex begins to enter a process of introspection. When you are no longer there, no longer hovering, agreeing to every request or waiting for every message, they lose a familiar source of ego validation. Previous assumptions that you will always be there, always ready, are shaken. They suddenly realize they are not in control of the situation as before. Your absence creates a void, a silent but challenging space for them. It is this atmosphere that forces them to confront thoughts like, did I misjudge this person? Was I hasty in ending things? Applying the no-contact rule is a powerful and subtle move. You don't use words to argue your worth, nor do you strive to prove it through excessive actions. Instead, you step back and let silence speak for itself. In that space, your ex grapples with insecurity, with an unnamed sense of loss. They used to believe they could call you back anytime, but now that confidence is shattered. As you detach yourself from the old emotional whirlwind, they are the ones facing the fear that perhaps you are moving on, becoming stronger, and maybe you don't even need them anymore. Insecurity creeps in, forcing them to reconsider, is the person they let go slipping away? And was the decision to leave you truly right? It is in this moment of silence and independence that the psychological balance is recalibrated. You shift from the role of pursuer to the one being desired, and they are forced to re-examine their own emotions. They may still think they have the upper hand because they chose to break up. But as time passes, they begin to wonder, why isn't he chasing me? Am I really more attractive? This thought gnaws at them, triggering memories of the early stages of the relationship when you were the captivating one. It's when they truly worry that you might have moved beyond their orbit that they start to lower their ego and consider returning. Deep attraction in a relationship lies largely in the emotional aspect, where physical appearance only serves as an initial pass. In the beginning, charm and looks might spark attention, but it's emotional strength and depth of character that keep the flame alive. And when that emotional flame dwindles, the bond begins to waver, ultimately leading to a breakup. It is the loss or fading of this emotional heat that is the underlying reason she decided to step out of a seemingly precious love. Now, when you stop chasing, stop clinging desperately, you inadvertently create a void that forces her to pause and wonder, what has changed? Previously, your constant, overwhelming presence might have led her to believe she was no longer interested, that you had become predictable and less attractive. But when the pursuit stops, she is the one left in a state of uncertainty. Was the decision to leave hasty? Was it a mistake? As you begin to return to yourself, investing time in other healthy relationships, in your own hobbies and passions, you gradually regain your confidence, your natural gaze and smile, the very things that once made her heart flutter. In the midst of that silence, she will sense something. You no longer depend on her presence to define your worth. Emptiness and confusion now claw at her inner self, gnawing at her thoughts silently but persistently. She may have once thought that letting go would be as light as a feather, a decisive step, with no looking back. But the reality is harsher. The emptiness she feels is not fading. On the contrary, it reverberates back with increasing intensity. Old memories, warm moments, sincere laughter, trusting eyes, your thoughtful care, all come flooding back like an unstoppable stream of memories. She has to ask herself, what have I lost that is so precious that nothing can replace it? It is when you step back, reinvent yourself, that your independence and silence suddenly become a mirror reflecting her mistake. Before, she believed that your attraction lay in your pursuit and tolerance, but when you stop clinging, your intrinsic value, inner beauty, and self-control become clearer than ever. Now she realizes that attraction is not about pleading, not about emotional submission, but about the ability to live fully without her. This strikes at her ego, making her suddenly understand that the power she thought she held is actually fragile and temporary. As time goes by, the void in her life cannot be filled by superficial parties, temporary dates, or fleeting conversations. Your absence cannot be replaced by instant gratification, for it is the lack of a deep connection that once brought her a sense of security and meaning. The more she tries to run away, the more she stumbles upon insecurity within herself. From fleeting flashes of memory, a familiar song, a reminiscent scent, now everything crystallizes into a clear realization. Your departure is not merely the loss of a lover, but the loss of a part of her identity that made her feel more complete. For you, this is a major test of discipline and willpower. The no-contact rule is not just a strategy, but a confident declaration. You are strong enough to grow, to live, and to rise without her validation. Despite the temptation to text, to check on her emotions, you remain steadfast. You understand that each day of silence is a day you invest in yourself, cultivating a new skill, completing an abandoned goal, nurturing family and friendships. This is not waiting for her to come back, but a journey to affirm that you have independent worth, not dependent on the judgment of others. Meanwhile, she gradually realizes that all she tries to replace you with are soulless fragments. No one in those temporary relationships can reflect the depth you once created. You did not just exist in her life as a passing shadow, you left an indelible mark, and now the distance brings her enlightenment. She realizes that she has not only lost a lover, but also lost a part of her spiritual foundation, something that made her feel protected, cherished. And it is in that silent stillness that the emotional scales turn. She begins to see you not as a loser, but as someone who has risen from the ashes to become resilient and self-reliant. The moment she realizes this, she suddenly understands your departure is not merely an ending, but a harsh lesson for her, a reminder that in silence and inner freedom, you have rediscovered your true worth. Be patient, for inner transformations do not happen in the blink of an eye. The flow of time will slowly etch this realization into her heart. And you, remember that silence is not a weapon, but a metal recognizing your mental strength. In that silence, you not only change how she sees you, but also forever change how you see yourself. Time is your ally. She may one day fleetingly think, maybe I was wrong, but if day after day you still don't chase, don't appear as the less attractive one, that thought deepens. From maybe to perhaps then maybe I was really wrong, she enters a state of anxiety for fear of losing you. When she starts to fear that you will be the one that got away, that's when your attractiveness increases in her eyes. Now she can't easily grab you on a familiar street corner, can't easily snap her fingers to call you back. You become rare, precious. It is this preciousness that awakens the desire to conquer within her. And in many cases, she may text or call, inquire, start a normal but meaningful conversation, then slowly move deeper, more yearningly. That's how you turn the tables. Focus on yourself, respect their space, don't chase, patiently wait for time to do its work. Ultimately, if they come back to you, it's not just out of curiosity, but because they realize that the attraction, value, and love you once shared with them still exists, even more deeply than before. And then, the door to reconciliation truly opens. The journey to make your ex chase you is not a mind game, but a lesson in maturity. It's not just about sparking curiosity or rekindling feelings, but also a journey for you to rediscover yourself, regain independence, and affirm your true worth. When you stop chasing, focus on personal growth, and let time do its work, you not only make your ex see you in a new light, but also create change within yourself. Whether they come back or not, you have won, because you have become the best version of yourself, confident, independent, and attractive. Remember, lasting attraction lies not in proving anything to them, but in living the life you love, with joy and pride coming from within yourself. And if they realize you are the one they cannot lose, it only reinforces that you deserve to be loved sincerely. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications to continue receiving valuable sharing about love, self-development, and effective strategies to overcome any challenges in life. Keep walking on this journey, not for anyone else but for yourself.